What's up? So tonight I wanted to talk about something that just kind of came to me when I saw this. And that thing is names. In particular, names like mine that have multiple different spellings. Considering the fact that it's something that you've had to deal with for probably most of your life, especially in my case, when I was a kid, the only time Nicole ever came out was when I was in trouble. Or first day of school and it was like, Nicole, you can call me Nikki. Then in those cases I would sort of get it. But there are just so many different ways that people can spell Nikki. I swear there has not been a single birthday or Christmas where someone has not misspelled my name. The way that I word this almost makes it sound like I'm angry at this. Again, after about 18 and a half years of life, you stop caring. It just becomes more inconvenient, or a game of, will this person spell my name correctly this year? And the reason why I thought of that was because, again, I saw this when I was clearing off my shelf over there, and let's see what it is. You see right there, at the very front of the book, they spelled it correctly. And, you know, this book was from my church, and it has a bunch of little letters written to me because I graduated this year. And I'm not really going to be reading the notes in particular. That would be another video for another day, which wouldn't be as good because I've already read these and I've already cried. So let's just look at this and see how people have spelled my name. Literally the first one incorrect. N-I-K-I. Which then leads to the next two people who wrote this spelling it N-I-K-I as well. This one spelled it the boy way and spelled it N-I-C-K-Y. The next one, who is my friend Ty, you're awesome Ty, spelled it correct. And yet another N-I-C-K-Y. This guy spelled it correctly, so thank you. Another correct spelling. Correct. No name, so doesn't matter. Correct. Insane handwriting that I can't read. Correct. Again, didn't use it. Correct. It looks like they almost spelled it incorrectly, but they started to spell it correctly and did it right. Correct. Well, this one's sort of right, sort of wrong. I feel like this might have been Crystal. I don't know, it's kind of like they shortened it a little bit, so it's N-I-K-K. Nick. I've never really gone by Nick, unless it's Crystal trying to annoy me. And even then it'd be like, hey Knick-Knack, and like all these other weird names that you can take just because they have Nick somewhere in it. Oh, actually, no. Here's Crystal's, and she said, to Nicole. Spelled it correctly, and then Dan spelled it correctly, and yeah. So it turns out a good chunk of people can spell it correctly, but I think that's also because of the fact that it said my name in the front of the book. And there's been much weirder spellings. There was one time when someone actually, spelled my name N-I-C-K-I-I. Who does that? If you go by Nikki and you spell Nikki like that, then please tell me, because I'm wondering who the heck actually uses that spelling. But it's not even just that. There are so many other names that I feel like could potentially have it worse than me. I mean, sure, I might get the occasional person who spells it N-I-C-K-I, and then I'm just like, oh great, you spelled it like Nicki Minaj. Thank you, I love that association so much. But then it's like even this old friend that I had in elementary school. Her name was Jaden. And for her first birthday, because I thought that it sounded like Jade-in, not Jaden, I spelled her name J-A-E-D-I-N. To which I then learned that was horribly incorrect, and I made sure that I remembered that. Because as an 8-year-old who had been dealing with that for her entire life, I did not want another human being to have to endure that the same way I did. And like I said, after many years, it's not annoying, really. You're just kind of like, you spelled that incorrect. Even worse when, like, teachers are writing your name on the board and it's like, I know you don't really care and you're going to erase that in about 5 minutes, but you didn't spell that right. Just because you want it to be spelled correctly. And, ugh. I don't know which would be worse. Having a name that has so many different, like, spelling variations that no one will spell it correctly, or having one of those names that is super bizarro, like, foreign to North America, and it's the reason why substitute teachers go, if I butcher anyone's names, I am so sorry, forgive me, and just correct me if I do. On the one hand, there's not really any sort of conclusion to be drawn from this, it's just something I wanted to talk about. On the one hand, you might, depending on how good you are at debating, be able to try and draw out some conclusion that it makes you more tolerant and patient with people in these certain situations. I would argue that that is not true because I am such a grammar Nazi with my friends. Like, I'm not the annoying person that will deliberately, like, go to people's Facebook posts and say, you forgot the Oxford comma. But, you know, like, if my one friend, if he texts me because he uses poor grammar all the time, and, like, you know, he uses the wrong word, they'll just be like, my adjective? I didn't even know I had an adjective. It's very odd, too, especially because when I was a kid, I hated the name Nicole so much, and I'm pretty sure I told my parents that when I got older I was going to legally change my name to Nikki, because Nicole just wasn't doing it for me. As you get older, you kind of start to appreciate your full name, I guess. So then when I was in grade 9, and, you know, it was getting through the thing, and, you know, in the morning I met my homeroom teacher, who was my homeroom teacher all throughout high school, and it was like, okay, Nicole, you can call me Nikki. You can call me Nikki. You can call me Nikki. And by third period, I was just done, so, Nicole. Yup. I think I picked it up again in fourth period, I don't know why. But yeah, there's times when my teacher in that period, he was a math teacher. I only had him in grade 9, which made me sad. He was a good math teacher. But yeah, he would, like, jump back and forth between Nicole and Nikki, which I didn't mind. I don't really mind that very much. But one thing that's also kind of interesting is, do not write your middle name on things. I've learned this the hard way. Just don't write your middle name. When I was in grade 9, again, there was kind of like this pep rally thing. It's weird. Whenever I think of pep rallies, I think of, like, a cheer and a couple of things before a football game, but for us, the pep rallies were everyone scrunched into the auditorium and then just, hey, we have some lame shows to put on for you. While we stand up here doing that, oh, are we doing this? That's right, other annoying person on the SLC, we are doing this. Wow, I cannot believe we are actually doing this. The one that I had to do isn't the right word, I volunteered to do after people kind of begged me, was I was part of the Christian club at my school, Tri-CF. And so I had to go to this pep rally, join some random dude from, I think it was like a nature club or something, I don't remember. It was something outdoorsy, that's all I remember. And we had to take part in a So You Think You Can Dance ripoff. And we survived the first round, because it was like 3 teams of 2, and my group had survived the second one. And so then the second round, I think it was like Wrecking Ball by Miley Cyrus, because the first one we did was the chicken dance. And because I didn't know what else to do, and because I'm not very good at dancing, I just kind of like got on the floor and did like that crab move that you see in like Ukrainian dancing all the time, just because I know how to do it. And so I thought, yeah, we did pretty good. Then our competition arose, and Basically, this dude just like ripped his t-shirt in half, chucked it on the ground, and then started twerking on this one girl that he was partners with. I just like leaned closer to the guy beside that I was partners with and said, "We're screwed." When he came to my homeroom to talk to me, he asked to see Emily. Which at first I was confused because there was a different girl in my homeroom named Emily. And so then he said my last name and I was like, "Oh, my name's Nikki." The same thing happened when I got my job. I included my middle name on my resume, and because of that, whenever I like punch in and it says that I am on this till, it says Emily. So, yeah, it's just funny. So yeah, unless you actually want people to acknowledge you by your middle name, then do not write it down. Because, I mean, there are people that do go by their middle names, like my communication media teacher and my pastor, who ironically are both Barry. Names are weird. I remember, like, that one, like, post that went around the internet that I shared at one point that said, to think that your name is literally just the noises that come out of your mouth that we use to let you know that we are talking to you. Like, it's kind of funny, really. Like, if you were to just make gibberish noises to someone as a baby, and then continue to make said gibberish noises as they grew up, then said gibberish name or that sound would be what they know they need to pay attention to, because that's when you are trying to talk to them. The fact that someone decided Nikki or Nicole is an interesting sounding way to acknowledge someone, or even in other cases like Jordan, Emily, Shirley, what are other weird names? Jackson, like really, when you think about it, who thinks of that? What shall I name you? Jack. No, that is your father's name. Actually, that works. Because you are Jack's son, we'll call you Jackson. Or Jackson. I don't know. Maybe it depends on the accents. I mean, in cases when it's like, you know, it says in the Bible that God said to name the child this, then yeah, that makes sense. But when you're on your own and you're just kind of like, I want to name this person this, then, I don't know. That's my little rant discussion thing about names for the evening. I'm gonna head out. It's late. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe. I'm getting better with the videos after about a month of trying to adjust to work life. So yeah, I'm heading out. Bye. If you were to like literally just like make gibberish noises and then make said same delish when he came to clap, bleh. But kind of like my communication media teacher and my pastor, who ironically goth Bow by Barry. I literally forgot what I was going to say.